Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy V 4-job Fiesta for TnyToe's Rat Rescue. In our last episode, we had learned that TnyToe's world and Galuf's world had merged together. This was the original state of the world, but the world was split into two in order to seal away the Void. The Void was basically a dark power that a sorcerer named Inu tried to use a long time ago to basically conquer the world and, do evil things like evil wizards are known to do. But the Void was so powerful that the only way that they could prevent it from being used for evil purposes was to seal it between the two worlds in a thing called the interdimensional rift. So, Exdeath, he wanted to break the crystals in both Galuf's world and TnyToe's world so that the Void would escape and he'd be able to claim that power and use it as his own. So, now, while the merge of the two worlds has allowed Exdeath to kind of get a little bit of the power of the Void, he used it to suck up Tycoon Castle. It also kind of maybe spelled his doom, because when the two worlds merged, finally the Sealed Tome book, there was one half in Galuf's world and one half in TnyToe's world, we were finally able to combine that book, the two parts. And that gives a little bit of a clue on to how we're going to beat Exdeath, so. But apparently, that sealed book tells us where there are 4 tablets, and these 4 tablets will allow us to unseal the 12 legendary weapons. Those 12 legendary weapons were initially used to seal away and defeat Inu, that dark wizard that I talked about, who first tried to use the power of the Void. So hey, it worked against him, they should work against Exdeath. But before we can unseal those 12 weapons, we have to, like I said, get the 4 tablets. Then they're all going to be inside one type of elemental type dungeon. So we learned the first one is going to be it's basically an earth type dungeon. It's going to be in the Pyramid of Moor. So we're going to head there a little bit later, but let's talk with these people first. When I was young, I heard stories about dwarves. They live deep underground and are really good smiths. Plus they have beard and wield axes and are really cute. Dwarves are definitely out there. Do you believe in dwarves? Well, we'll find out about dwarves much later on in the game. But yes, dwarves do exist, and we will run into them. So yeah, this is Karnak. I basically came here, not so much, there's not really too much information. You see, a lot of the people are basically saying the same thing they said way back when we first ran into this, after the Karnak Castle exploded back in TnyToe's world a long time ago. I mean, they just came this way to get a few more enemies in the bestiary. So down here's the mountain range that blocked us off from going further to the east there. A little bit to the east is Guido's Cave. So yeah, we wouldn't be able to go any further west from Guido's Cave. So it was lucky that, Exdeath, when he attacked us and he blew us away, he blew us past that mountain range and allowed us to go to the Ancient Library. That was where the half of the Sealed Tome was in TnyToe's world, and it just so happened when the worlds merged together, Surgate Castle, where the other half of the Sealed Tome was basically within stone's throw distance of the Ancient Library. So the scholars from Surgate went down to the Ancient Library, they combined the tome, and with Sage Guido's help, they conveyed what the tome says. So, well, now we have that Ancient Tome, and we have to take it to the pyramid. So we'll notice in all these dungeons that we're going to be going to, they're all going to be guarded by gargoyles, like the one person said, one of the scholars at the Ancient Library. So, well, we learned a few more, we maxed out a few more jobs, so we gotta switch our jobs out here to keep in, keep in line with the 4-job Fiesta. So TnyToe, all he has to do is master the ranger job. He already got the other 3 done. So, Lena's unfortunately fallen a little bit behind, so, well, Man, Faris got to master quite a few jobs. She only mastered the Thief. But she's pretty close on all the other ones, so... Yeah, Berserker, 80 more hit points, so... 80 more ability points, so... Now, this is why, she just has the air knife, because we don't have that, an axe right now. We could get an axe in Surgate Castle, we can get the poison axe, but we're gonna get that chicken knife. That's why there was a little bit of a difference in the time saved from the last episode until this episode, because I used, that time, it was like a little over half an hour, to run from the 255 battles. So, yeah, when the world combined, that village by the Forest of Moor in Galuf's world, it's going to appear to the west of the desert. And there's a little place there. There was a shed that was locked in Galuf's world. But now that shed will be open, and we can go into that area, and we can have a choice of 1 or 2 treasures. So, there's the chicken knife or the brave blade. So, the chicken knife is the much better weapon, because the chicken knife, it can only get stronger, where the brave blade can only get weaker. And the chicken knife can be used by more classes. The brave blade is only useful by knights. The brave blade, it's a very strong weapon. It has an attack power of 150, and it gives strength plus 5. So that gives a little bit even more damage. However, every time you run from a battle, it loses 1 point to its attack power, so it can only get weaker. The chicken knife, on the other hand, it starts with only an attack power of 1, but for every 2 battles that you flee from, it gets plus 1 to its attack power for a maximum of 127. Now, 127 is obviously less than 150, the attack power of the Brave Blade. However, remember, knives, they not only factor in strength when dealing damage, they also factor in your agility. So when you factor in a character's agility along with the knife, along with the strength, it actually will be more powerful than the Brave Blade when fully powered up. And like I said, more classes can use it. So, with the Brave Blade, only knights can use it, where so many classes, pretty much every class, I think besides monks, can pretty much use knives. Maybe white wizards too, but... here's the Guardian Tree. If we stop and talk with it, the Guardian Tree, the forest is beginning to come back to life. Grandpa, why can't Grandpa come back to life? If only it were that easy. Or if only the Rainbow Bridge or Heaven had visiting hours. That would be nice. So many lives have been lost. So even though this is kind of a goofy game, there are some pretty, heavy themes here, so I think that right now we're kind of touching on that, so many people, their lives have been ruined and so many sacrifices have been made, to stop Exdeath, and then if he isn't stopped, even more will have to be made, so remember the Desert of Shifting Sands? Well, it's not shifting anymore. Yep, TnyToe's gonna make that observation right here. The sand stopped moving. I guess now that both sets of crystals have shattered, there's not enough power in the earth for it to move. Even the ground is getting unstable. But even though the ground is no longer shifting, that'll allow us to head to the pyramid. So, make a quick save here. We're making a few jots in and out of this pyramid. It's kind of a long dungeon, actually. So I remember what the one scholar at the ancient library said, that all these dungeons are going to be guarded by gargoyles. So, the gargoyles just basically attack. The thing with the gargoyles is, there's always going to be 2 of them. But if you defeat one, the other one will just revive the other one. So you have to defeat them both at the same time. Luckily, they're level 39. They're a multiple of 3. So we can use level 3 Flare, take them out in 2 hits, and that's it. So, blessed by the soil and spears of old, 1 tablet rests. Yep, this is a long, hard dungeon. Lots of traps, a lot of unescapable encounters, so. Here's the Lamia Queen. From the Lamia Queen, if you hold on long enough, she will eventually use this ability called Blowfish. And basically what Blowfish does is it deals 1,000 damage guaranteed. So it's basically in some areas it's called whatchamacallit, 1,000 needles, but in this translation it's called blowfish. So yeah, it does 1,000 damage. So it's pretty good for enemies that have really. We could have learned a long back time ago in Ronka Runes, but we didn't have a blue mage at the time. So yeah, we're gonna have to pick it up here. But even then, it's still okay. So we want to hit the first and the third switch, and that allows us to push down those spikes, and we can navigate through that area. If you step on the spikes, you lose some hit points, and I think you get poisoned as well in some of them. So here's a new. It's gonna be a lot of trap chests, and most of the trap chests have this encounter for these enemies called the Damned. They're pretty tough, but one good thing about them is they have whatchamacallit. They are a level of divisible by 4, so you can hit with the level 4 quarter spell and basically reduce them down to, you know, very few hit points. That basically one hit will take care of them. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of traps in this area. So trap chests. We saw that little sand stream pushed us around. Yes, that's like a little bit of a trap. There will be stairs that'll turn into slides that'll push into hazards. There's walls that can push into holes. So yeah, there's snakes that jump out. So yeah, this is a pretty tricky dungeon. Made even trickier by the fact that we only have 3 characters. So you see, here's the little snakes here. They pop out of the thing. So a lot of times, because I'll just be fighting these snakes, what I'll end up doing is I'll just like off-screen fighting them. So yeah, two of the snakes jumped out, so I'll just finish off the second snake here, and you know, for this time. But in some rooms, you know, there'll be multiple snakes. There might be 3 or 4 that pop out. So what I'll end up doing is I'll just finish off them, you know, all off-screen, all in one go, and then just continue on. We got a new animal there, the falcon. Swept down and did a little bit of damage to the snake there. Alright. Let's head on up. Alright, now we're going to get on the other side of that sand spring. There it is. If we push the button, we can head back over there. But before we head over there, we're going to run up to the north. There's a little bit of some treasure that we want to get up there. So these guys are a multiple of level 2, so we can use the level 2 old spell to reduce their stats a little bit. Make them a little bit easier to hit. Damage. Like most of these stone type enemies, they have some pretty high defense, so we can just use magic to take care of them. Two shots of the aqua rake will finish him off. So that's how we'll take him out. There we go. And we finished him off. Woohoo! And TnyToe gained a stat. Finally learned some ranger abilities. So yeah, hit that button. The sand stops. So we're gonna head up this way here. We got some hidden passages here that we gotta sneak through. I'm gonna finish off those snakes all in one go. And we're gonna head back down here. And this is gonna be another common thing. We're gonna see a bunch of these like sarcophaguses. And when we open them up, we usually will fight either a mummy, or in this case, we fight the Grand Mummy. So, he's a mummy who's grand. He's a little bit tougher than the average mummy. What makes him a little bit tougher than the average mummy is, see his level? His level is 0. 1, he has more hit points, and 2, the other mummies are a multiple level 3, so we can hit him with level 3 flare, but not this mummy. Nope. So, of course, Faris using the dancing dagger keeps using the jitterbug dance, and remember, undead it reverses, so she's actually losing hit points when she does that. So we'll go into a sarcophagus, and we get the Coast Ring. It basically casts Doom on your character, but it gives some good defense, magic defense. So sneak by there. Woohoo! Good thing we don't have to fight those snakes. Now we can hit this little button and sneak back out. So now the way forward in the pyramid is to go up that staircase over there to the left. But I'm just making a quick jump into the pyramid. I'm actually gonna leave the pyramid right now. Just wanted to do that little section of the pyramid. We're taking out the pyramid in little chunks, so... Speaking of little chunks, we'll get some more chunks out of the bestiary here. We got 2 new enemies we can encounter in the desert here. First one here being these desert peas, and the second one being bullets, which are like land sharks. So, like most desert enemies, they are weak to water. Hit them with that aqua breath, and pretty much just takes them out in one hit. Does like 6,000 damage to them, so yeah. Let's go find that bullet here. Might take a little bit. Actually, it does take a little bit, but... Encounter rate is pretty high in the pyramid, too. So that makes that dungeon also, you know, another thing that makes that dungeon a little bit more difficult. You know, we have 3 characters, high encounter rate, and a bunch of traps. And a lot of the enemies, you know, you can't really avoid, you know, because they're like those snakes that you fight them because you ran into a sprite on the screen. So you can't flee from them. Like random encounters like this one here. So, let's use the aqua rake on these guys. And one hit will take them out, so... Boink. Look at that, over 6,000 damage. Yowzer. Alright. Now we have some new enemies in the forest over there going toward Moor, so we'll encounter them on our way to and from Moor. So, here we get lucky right here and find a new one right here. The Gloom Widow. Big spider. Not too difficult, so we could hit him with a level 3 flare if we wanted to. But I have a lot of my characters have the learning ability equipped, because I want to learn eventually that the blowfish, that 1,000 needles spell from the Lamias. So that's why TnyToe doesn't have another ability set. I'm also trying to see some of the new animals. Different animals are unlocked basically as you level up, so that's why recently we saw that new animal unlock, the falcon. So just gonna keep using that animal ability, so to try to see some of the cool little forest friends. As you can see though, they're kind of slowing down. They're not really doing too much damage, so... But we will be able to do a lot of damage soon with this chicken knife we're gonna get. So... most people saying same thing. The Forest of Moor disappeared. Yes, it did. Not gonna buy anything here. We're gonna sell some stuff, clear up some inventory, because there's a lot of treasure in the, whatchamacallit, in the pyramid, so... And we have a bunch of stuff that we ain't gonna ever use, because we can't use it, because, you know, the 4-job Fiesta, whatchamacallit, restrictions. You know, we can only use the 4 classes that we were assigned, so... A lot of these items are just gonna be totally useless, so might as well just clear up our inventory, you know, and make some space, so... We can also start buying some more elemental rods back in Karnak. So we weren't able to do that for a long time. But from the desire oftentimes comes evil, huh? He said that before. This is the kid who lets us know that the shed is now unlocked. Somebody unlocked the shed. They say it's haunted. Ooh, scary. Well, it is kind of scary, but it's worth being scared. The forest turned into a desert. Did you hear? The forest is coming back, starting from the guardian tree. I went to the desert the other day and saw a strange building. I wonder what it is. Something big is happening in the world, I'm certain. Ah, Guido is alright, thank goodness. Yep, alright. So what we want to do is we want to head over here. Now, earlier in the game, this shed, it was locked. This is kind of tricky. It's kind of like a maze. You can't see where you're going. Even if you have a thief's ability, the passageway ability, you can't see. So you're gonna just kind of gotta move south and keep pressing down on the controller, and eventually you'll find your way here. So we get this wizard here, and he basically gonna tell us, whatever we have here, getting this far, must you be very brave or very lucky. I'll let you decide. Think you're brave? Take the chest on the left. If you're a coward, take the one on the right. So the brave blade is on the left. The right is the chicken knife. I said earlier in the episode why we want the chicken knife, so let's grab that chicken knife. And, woohoo! Now we got a really powerful knife. So, because I spent all that time running, yep, it has max attack power of 127, so nice. So Faris is going to do a lot of damage with that chicken knife. So, yeah, I have her on a class, even though she mastered, because, you know, the class that she needs to work on, the Blue Mage, well, Krile has to work on that too, so. But it's okay, eventually, you know, well, everybody's gonna learn all their classes, so. Like I said, without this high encounter rate, we'll be getting a lot of ability points, so. Yeah, maxing classes won't be too much of a problem, so. I have a little piece of paper off to the side where I keep track of, you know, what everyone's classes are and, you know, how close they are to, like, kind of maxing it, so. Everybody will learn what they need to learn. So. Alright, let's get this other last enemy around, the Moor area. Some slug enemies. So, anyone got some salt? Nope, we don't got salt. But we do have level 3 flare. See? Level 42? Let's hit him with the level 3 flare spell. I told you that level 3 flare spell is going to be really, really, powerful. Yeah, it's a good thing we learned it from, Exdeath. I wonder if he would have cast it on us if he knew, like, how much use we were going to get out of it. I don't know. Like, sometimes the bad guys, they give you the tools that, the good guys need to defeat them. So, alright. So, now we're going to need some more tools to eventually defeat Exdeath in the forms of the 12 legendary weapons. But in order to get them, we're going to need to get those 4 tablets. So, let's going to head back into the pyramid on our next episode to try to make some more progress and try to get the first of the 4 tablets. Take care, have a good day. Bye!